Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Back in business. I've been gone for 3 days, and I'm back in my office here. I will discuss in this video everything that is to known or is out there regarding the so-called Trump's peace plan, the 28-point peace plan. It seems like it ain't going to be anything serious. Why? From the get-go, you have to look at the dynamics, who's who, what's what, and then you understand, if you look through those lenses, what's going on. So, what do we have over here? We have the Americans coming with a peace plan, 28-point peace plan, gave it to the for ending the war in Ukraine. Gave it to the Europeans. The European Union gave it to the Ukrainians, but not to the Russians. Anyway, and the Europeans rejected it right there. The Ukrainians were like, we don't like it, we can tweak it a little bit. The delegations from the European Union and some European leaders, that's how it's called, European leaders, the Ukrainians represented by none other than Yermak, a grifter possibly, and Marco Rubio met in Geneva twice. Today is the 24th. They met yesterday, they meet today, and I'm going to let you know, I'm going to show you. I have about 28 articles here open for you. I'm going to give you the points. The European Union came with a counter offer. I have the text right here. They dropped from 28 to 18 points. 18 or 19, let me be precise, but from 28 to 19. Trump gave Zelensky supposedly an ultimatum, which is you are going to do this until Thursday. So you got 3 more days. Then you are going to, who are involved in the drafting this, how do you call it, 28 points, and you're going to find out a lot of them, if you know what I mean. The Russians' reactions, the Polish reaction, all this will be today. Now, before I go further and start with all the articles, I have to make an announcement. I scheduled a live show for tomorrow regarding a 2025 American Renaissance Conference experience, and you guys can ask me questions about that mainly, but if you want to ask questions about something else, that's fine. As always, it's going to be a rapid fire questions and answers. I will not be able to get to all of them. So tomorrow, the 25th of November 2025 at 2:30, so 2:30 Eastern Time, United States of America. So 2:30 Eastern Time, that's what? 14:30. All right, so at military time, whatever. So 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon in the United States of America will be this Q&A thing. Then it's going to Eastern Time. Then we're going to be, 6:30 in Sydney, Australia, kind of. Then it's going to be 10:30 p.m. So 6:30 is going to be a.m. in Sydney, Wednesday morning. So for the Australians guys on that side, it's going to be the next day on the 26th. So I'm going to hold it in 25 in Eastern Time, United States of America, in Sydney, Australia, Philippines, Japan, and so on. It's going to be the next day in the morning, 6:30 a.m. in Sydney. And the 25th is going to be at 10:30 p.m. in Moscow time. And if you want to go to Europe, Eastern Europe, you just subtract 1 hour. So probably 9:30 about Romania's time, Eastern European, or 8 p.m. and so on. So I'm trying to hit all of you somehow. The Australians have to wake up early. Nevertheless, I know you guys are over there, and I will see you in questions and answers. So that's for tomorrow. You can find it on my channel. It's already scheduled. If I'm going to encounter some technical difficulties over there, don't worry, I will start another one immediately. So if I close that one, I'm going to start immediately another one. Just go into my channel and you just access the new one. It happened before. That's why I'm trying to prepare you. Don't like, where are you? You're gone. No, I understand. My bad. And you're going to find me. So you're going to find me on another one. Another live one on my channel. So let's start with this garbage here. These are the lenses you have to look at this peace plan and Ukraine. There are financial, economic interests. They are the ones they're fighting. It is not Ukraine. It is not the European Union. It is not the people of Europe. It is not Germany. It's not France. These guys are owned by financial, economic, industries, and so on. International banks, international, industrial conglomerates, and so on. They are the ones. They have their champions that we are supposed to confirm as election. That's the way it works in the West. In Russia, you have Putin and his guys. Why they are in charge? Because they have the military in charge. The other guys don't have the military in charge. They have through the politicians. They try to keep the appearances as each institution follows its purpose. Like the military cannot get involved in this. No, the intelligence services only deals with this. It's a parallel state, deep swamp, and all that. All owned by the interests. Remember, their champions, our elected officials, are the ones who make it sound and look official and clear and not corrupt through their operative media. That's the way it is. The media will skew it so people think, yeah, we live in a democracy. Yes, we're going to do it. It's serious business. It's not serious business. Things are clear. Those guys decided they need Russia's resources, take it over, and then next China, and then the globe. That's the way it is. And they talk about the guy with the mustache. That was a baby boy compared with these jackals. So that's the way it is. If you look through this lens, you will understand why the European Union disagrees with the Americans. Or why some guys in Ukraine supposedly have balls. And why they are discussing and not discussing with China, with India, because those are not part of the so-called Western world with these interests that are located in the West. Anglo-Saxon mostly. And Anglo-Saxons steered by a very small group located not in Europe. All right, so let's start with the full text of Europe's counter-proposal to US peace plan. If you use the lenses that I just explained, you understand that the European Union could not oppose United States of America in other things, like in trade. In trade, United States of America said, yeah, I'm going to charge you 15% tariffs on everything you bring, and you're not going to charge me anything. And you will buy $800 billion of energy from me, liquefied natural gas, oil, and so on, and weapons from me. And the Europeans said, yes, they did not even negotiate. But somehow, in Ukraine, they negotiate. They tell the Americans no. Isn't that strange? That's why you understand that those interests are against. They're not profiteering. They don't want to let go. They want to be at the table where the discussion is, how much do I get out of Russia? How much do I get out? That's what's going on. It's not that the Ukraine and the Europeans talk about sovereignty. It's not that. It is the interests behind who do not like how the share they're offered by the bigger ones located in the United States of America is a pack of wolves. You have the alpha gets everything and distributes to everybody else how much they want. And these guys don't like it. But in everything I told you, remember when von der Leyen went to that Scottish golf course and sold the European Union? She sold the European Union to Trump just like this. She had nothing to say, but somehow here she's all upset. Who's behind her? The same guys? I don't think so. They agreed on the terms of plunder. And who's plundered? All right, just so you know. So let's go. They said the Russians. We are already owned by these guys. That's the point. Here. Ukrainska Pravda. Full text of Europe's counter-proposal to US peace plan released. You remember the European Union Europe had no counter-proposal to Trump's economic sellout. Nothing. But now they are saying, this is the proposal. The United Kingdom, France, and Germany. 3 countries that are dying. If left alone, these 3 countries have no resources. These 3 countries, they have to get their resources from somewhere. These guys, France is 100% or 90-some%, depends on the nuclear energy. Do you know where they get the nuclear? If you pull that off, these baboons in Paris will not have energy. They would go back to campfires. They need it. How do you think they want that? How much do I get from Russia? How much? For instance, they get the resources from even from Algeria. Instead of, let's say, smacking Algeria, they can't. Therefore, they're begging Algeria to give them whatever energy they give them over there. Just an example. United Kingdom, we should not talk about it. They get from Norway and other areas. And Germany is a dying economy industry. Have prepared counter-proposals to the 28-point US peace plan, including a cap of 800,000 personnel for Ukraine's armed forces and negotiations to start from the current line of contact. So 800,000 personnel. That is an impossibility. Impossibility. Remember, you have two sides. The Americans and or the Americans' interest, the big interest I told you, and the Russians. The problem is the Russians said, we are at war with you because you did not provide us with security guarantees in 2021 and 2022. And you guys broke, not you, the guys in Ukraine, broke the Minsk agreement so many times. We don't trust anything that you say. And we enter over there and we have 4 non-negotiable. One of which is Ukraine will have no military. Or we have something over there, like 5 people and a cart and a kite. That's all they're going to have. And these guys come with cap of 800,000. Ukraine supposedly right now has about 20 some million people, with all the dead and all the people who are refugees and so on. Let's give them 30 million. 30 million people with an army of 800,000. What does it mean? Do you think there's going to be a lasting peace? It's not going to be any lasting peace. I gave you an example in another video that I made with Romania. Romania had in communist times a population of 24 million. About 24 million people. If Ukraine has about 30 right now, how in the hell they want almost 1 million? Romania in the communist times had a military, I think it was about 200,000. 200 standing army at 24 million. Right now Romania is 17 million for obvious reasons, but it's okay, they're going to get a sturdy guys from different continents to take care of the Romanian women, so they make new Romanians, but only in Europe. And this is 17 million, now they have about 55,000. But these guys want 800,000. So I don't think that's going to work. So that's the first one. Let's go to the proposals. 1, Ukraine sovereignty to be confirmed. Okay, that's so flimsy. Under what kind of sovereignty? You see? Ukraine sovereignty, Ukraine sovereignty, Ukraine sovereignty. Under what's going to be a territory? I'm all for it. We're going to confirm it. The Russians will confirm it. But it's going to be 2 oblasts. That's it. 2 județe. 2, not even states. 2 counties. We're okay with that. We respect the sovereignty, right, 100%. But it's going to be 2 oblasts. So again, flimsy. Next one. There will be a complete non-aggression agreement reached between Russia and Ukraine and NATO. This is what the Russians wanted in 2021. And all ambiguities from the last 30 years will be resolved. Fantastic. That's a Russian victory. Point 3 of US plan, which states that Russia is expected not to interfere in the affairs of its neighbors, and NATO is not expected to expand further. I discussed this in the previous video. What about NATO is expected not to interfere in affairs of its neighbors? Can we agree to that one? Is to be removed. You see it? Is removed. So this is gone out. After a peace, why? So Russia, that means, is expected to interfere and NATO is expected to expand. All right? Or only this would be okay, and that's not okay. 4, after a peace agreement is signed, the dialogue between Russia and NATO, no, US, will convene to address all security concerns and create a de-escalatory environment to ensure global security and increase the opportunity. No, you need China. When I see China over there, Iran and North Korea, I will say yes, only after the peace agreement is signed. No, that should be a dialogue. That should be before. Ukraine will receive robust security guarantees. How about Russia? You see, size of Ukraine military to be capped at 800,000 in peacetime. In peacetime. The US plan stipulated 600, which is, I don't think so. Ukraine joining NATO depends on consensus of NATO members, which does not exist. No, that could be changed. No, because we have the Budapest Memorandum 1994, which stipulates clearly that Ukraine will have its territory untouched and it's going to be a sovereign country if it's neutral. militarily not aligned to any bloc. So that nullifies number 7. Or number 7 nullifies the Budapest Memorandum. Then that means the sovereignty of Ukraine can be destroyed by whomever feels like and diminished. NATO agrees to not to permanently station troops under its command in Ukraine in peacetime. What if in wartime? So that means if there's a little scuffle between the Russians and the Ukrainians again, which will be, NATO can do that. The US plan requires a blanket ban on NATO forces. NATO fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. They are already. All right, 10 US guarantees that mirror Article 5. You see here? US guarantee that mirror Article 5 concerning Ukraine's security. That is, US to receive compensation for the guarantee. This is protection fee. If Ukraine invades Russia, it forfeits the guarantees. No. If Ukraine invades Russia, NATO will invade Ukraine and beat it up. If Russia invades Ukraine, it should be the same thing. NATO forfeits its guarantee. In addition to a robust coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be restored. So no, they talk about a just peace. Just means reciprocity. If I can smack you in the face, you have the same right to smack me in the face. And I have the right to talk badly to you, then you have the same right. This is just. Not if US invades, then we're going to attack you. But if if Russia invades, we can attack you. But if Ukraine invades, no, we're just going to turn the other way. And we continue probably to do what we're doing right now. Sponsor with our military industrial complex those baboons to die some more. Next one. Ukraine is eligible for EU membership. We had that one. Robust, This is the economic one. They want money. They want to reconstruct what they destroyed. Sanctions relief will be discussed and agreed upon in phase and on case-by-case cases. These guys think they're still in charge. Russia to be progressively reinstated in the global economy. I explained this. It's not the global economy. It's the Anglo-Saxon economy. They think, delusional, that they are in charge still. No, Russia doesn't need you. Russia is China, has India, and the rest of the world. You have your size. The rest of the world is right here. These guys are talking very, very, look down on Russia. Talk down. And this is another. They didn't change at all. And who's doing this? The Europeans? Oh, right. Ukraine will be fully reconstructed and compensated financially, including through Russian sovereign assets. That is thievery. No. And we have all these things. Zaporozhye remains non-nuclear. Ukraine agrees to remain a non-nuclear state. Okay, the Zaporozhye nuclear plant will be 50-50. Ukraine will adopt European rules of religious tolerance and protection of linguistic minorities. The US proposal not reference EU rules. EU rules are, you know what I mean? And include a clause banning all Nazi ideology. So they are for it seems like. All right. That change provisions will be made to address the suffering of victims of conflict. The US proposed an automatic full amnesty. So no, these guys want to go and be just and see who committed what. That means tribunals. All right, this is the change in this baboon's view, which is, first, start with this. The European Union is weak. Is not united, as it calls European Union. Is not united, and is formed of different interests. The European Union has no army. It has a few countries that would not dare to coalition of the willing do anything to the Russians, but they talk because they think they're gonna push everybody else. This is how these strong German, French, English armies are. They want to fight the Russians with everybody else. We're going to provide you with the weapons. We stand right here and we tell you what to do and where to go and die. This is the Baltic state situation, Poland situation, Romanian situations, whomever. They will use them until the fire comes next to them. When fire comes next to them, they have no pink hairs and bowless people to fight their war. Therefore, they're going to go and say, okay, come on, Ivan, let's talk now. That's the way it is. That's the way it was. Why? Because they're smart. They're not weasels. They're smart. But if Russia does that, they're, the right word, cowards. European Commission President outlines key elements of peace settlement in Ukraine. All right, a crucial element that must be part of any agreement, the return of each and every Ukrainian child abducted by Russia. Why would the Russians want to abduct Ukrainian children? If the Ukrainians are Russians' enemies, I don't want those children to be reared by my Russians. It's like, I have enough Russians, they probably need rearing. Why do I need my enemy? No, you fucking stay over there. This is how it should be if really the Russians hate the Ukrainians and they are abducting them. Like what? Turning them into slaves? No, they're going to raise those children. And the children will grow to be adults and realize that actually the Russians killed my parents. So what do you think they will do? You understand? So this is an imbecility. Let's go. But she's so compassionate. I don't think she has children. And even if she has von der Leyen, I'm talking. Even if she has children, I probably they're somewhere in a, I don't know. I can't say what I want to say. Tens of thousands of boys and girls. Okay, fuck off. Let's move to the next one. Trump's peace plan cut from 28 to 19 points at Geneva talks. Today, the 24th. All right, let's see what we have here. Anonymous sources familiar with the discussions told the Financial Times that original 28 points plan was shortened to 19 points after negotiations on Sunday. Blah, blah, blah. The problem is, I'm going to show you who negotiated. And really, this is just the representatives of the interest. I mean, first, I don't think Marco Rubio is a good negotiator. But don't worry, it's not he. There's some other ones over there. I'm going to show you who put together the 28 peace plan. All right, we are trying to come up with something that flies as a counter-offer. The Financial Times also reported that further meetings are expected this week involving representatives of France, Germany, UK, Poland, Finland, possibly joining alongside NATO Secretary General. Question, why Finland? Why Poland? Why don't you go by yourselves? Well, this is the thing. This will decide for Romania, for Albania, for Czech Republic, for Hungary, for these guys. And when those guys are going to say no, and I don't understand this guy. This guy, I don't understand Finland. I really don't understand. I'm sorry. Finland is a non-country. I mean, not a non-country. Why? It's like, I tell you, how should I put it in as an example. I want to play football, like soccer. And I bring, okay, I want to play you. And who do I call? Okay, I call Messi. Come on, Messi over here. I call Ronaldo. Okay, come over here. I call, let's say, Mo Salah or whatever. I call guys that are really, really good players. And you say, no, let's bring, I don't fucking know, Jukubaka. Never. Who's Jukubaka? You want to play with Jukubaka? Hey, we got a Jukubaka here. Jukubaka is zero compared with the heavyweights I'm coming with. Understand? When they say Finland, what's going on? Once Finland wants to fight Russia? Is that what I want? Go and fight it. No, they're smart. We are trying to come up with something. Okay, next. Ukrinform. New round of negotiations on peace plan between Ukraine, US, Europe begins in Geneva. All right, that's going to be round 2. Here, from the joint statement on United States-Ukraine meeting. US mission, pop. This is from today. And they didn't find anything. They talk about discussions. We talked about this and that. We're going to talk later. Final decision under this framework will be made by the presidents of Ukraine and the United States of America. So Trump and Zelensky will meet and will have the final say, supposedly. But Trump supposedly is not even briefed about these things. Right here. New Voice of Ukraine. United States officials say Trump wasn't briefed on key elements of the 28-point Ukraine peace plan. Now my question is this. Why? Well, when I am, let's say, the director of a company, I have departments, right? I know, sales department, shipping and receiving, design, and so on. That's the way it works. I stay over there. And you have these departments. They have their employees and their experts. Their experts come up with solutions. They put them together, and I'm staying here. And then I have meetings. I have meetings with the supervisors of or whomever is in charge of that department, one-on-one, and then as a committee, or not a committee, but a meeting with all these guys, the chiefs of the departments, and they're going to brief me. I'm not involved in the design. I'm not involved in the shipping, receiving. That's why that's their department job with their experts, with people that we hired. I don't hire. I'm the president. I'm so high. I'm dealing with other things, right? Not with the details. It's called delegating power, but kind of. You let these guys do their job. So yes, he was not briefed. Do you think he was not briefed when they took it and took it to Geneva, you think? I think he was briefed. I think he was told this is what it is. But hey, let's see what these guys are saying. Continue. We're going to continue with that one. But in the meantime, U.S. peace plan drafted by Kremlin special envoy, his U.S. counterpart and Trump's son-in-law. All right, let's go back here. I think these guys did their garbage. Come on, one. Okay, I will buy that, whatever that is. Not. U.S. President Donald Trump was not directly involved. Of course not. It's not his thing. He's not the foreign minister in the details of the proposed or Commerce Department Secretary. Peace plan on the end Russia's war, the Washington Post reported. When someone tells Trump, I'll try to make a deal, he replies, great, see what you can do. That's the extent of his engagement with the details. Where's the problem? Where's the problem? Now, in a democracy, I've been told, you have to have charisma. That means you have to be a master bullshitter. That means you make people vote for you because you promise them it and you look good. You gotta look good, okay? For half of the population of a country to vote for you. You look suave, the cologne is fantastic, you know, all that. And they're, oh my God, I vote for Bill Clinton. Isn't he sweet? No. Anyway, so that's half of it. So you have the charisma. After you have the charisma, these guys vote for you and you supposedly know to pick up people that would work for you. Like you find out people, they're obviously recommended to you by interest, you know, like Rubio, foreign minister or secretary of state, or you get, I don't know, the Lupnik, the secretary of commerce, by other interests, millionaire, but it's okay, they're better than us. Which they have more money than we have, so must be doing something right, no? Under the current rules. So these guys, you're appointed because supposedly they know what they're doing and they are in charge. You're not micromanaging because you cannot know everything. You cannot know everything. Like, okay, economy, history, industry here, military. No, we're not going to do the F-1000, the fighter jet, because I have to understand, me, the president, all the details. You have to go to fucking school to understand all that. You can't just be briefed. Therefore, certain details is true. He doesn't know certain details. I guarantee the points were read to him at least once by others. But nevertheless, they make it like, oh, he's a baboon. I made a video on who drafted the 28 points. And you tell me if it's right. U.S. peace plan, quote unquote, drafted by Kremlin special envoy, Dmitriev, right here. Or Dimitrov, what's his name? Come on, man. Steve, I got you, and this is Dimitrov. Fuck it. Drafted by Kremlin special envoy, his U.S. counterpart, and Trump's son-in-law, Bloomberg. I already covered this one, which is Jared Kushner. Now, people in Romania, they are told, and we were told, that meritocracy rules democracy and capitalism. If you're good, you're gonna succeed. No, it's not like that. It's still who you know works better than what you know. Who you know can propel you to the top of wherever company. If, let's say, you fuck the boss, you're gonna be right there. If you don't, you can be right there, you know what I mean, still doing the hard job. So what am I talking about here? Jared Kushner. He is an entrepreneur. He builds businesses, buildings. He's a businessman. All right. He might be versed into dealing with people, right? Important deals and so on. But he doesn't know. I don't want to imply that. Maybe he's a well-read person, but nothing else. But he is in this again as a son-in-law, not because of his expertise. And he is as a senior advisor. That's how he was appointed by Trump, his father-in-law, in his first administration in 2016. I was like, my balls dropped. I was, what the hell, man? Exactly. So he, and by the way, both these guys, Mr. Witkov, he's Jewish, and Jared Kushner is Jewish, Zelensky is Jewish. What the hell we have here? We have a horror? What are we doing? I mean, it's just a coincidence, I'm sure. It's just because they're better than us. We're the chosen after all. But anyway, they're over there, and I'm not done. I will show you more. These guys drafted it without telling Trump. Possible? Right there. Right here. Jared Kushner is part of the US delegation in Geneva. Why? Why would he there? He's got Israel. I don't see any. Right here. You see that? That's Witkov. Right here. And this is another guy. Is right here. Andy Baker, National Security Advisor. Andrew Collison, Baker. All right, all right. So you have out of these four right here, two are Jewish. This, and then I don't know who that person is. Somewhere here it should be also the Cuban Marco Rubio. Now, why are they over there? Was Kushner involved? What does he know? What is he going to do? He's going to be asked concrete questions and he has to answer them. You can be a good negotiator, but if you don't know what you're negotiating, what are you going to be negotiating? You're going to just say, I don't like the proposal, and I'm going to be asked what exactly and why. And you have to say it, not because I don't like your face. So these are the Americans negotiators. And let me tell you a little story regarding these guys. After the First World War, it was the Peace of Versailles and so on, and people showed up, then delegations. And Woodrow Wilson, then the President of the United States of America, showed up with his American delegation. I read this, I think, in David Irving's one of his books. I'm sorry, I have to tell it. I think it was then in one place where I found it. And was the books or one of his speeches? Yes, very interesting. And he said that according to come on, baby. According to, I think it was Clemenceau, the president of France, he looked at the US delegation led by the American Woodrow Wilson, and he couldn't believe how many of these guys were in his delegations in 1918, 1919, in that area. Remember, Peace of Versailles, right there. And he said, who are these people? Are these Americans? That's according to historians. Go and read that. So we are in the same situation, but more than 100 years after that. Do you think that this connection is not like... Remember, this guy right here is the Middle East envoy. He was thrown into Ukraine. Is it because Zelensky is there? Is that because Zelensky was Jewish? And this guy was not even involved. He was involved with the Middle East. He was a senior advisor to the Middle East. What is he doing in Ukraine? Is it because of Zelensky? I don't know. You come with the answer. All right, let's go. EU's Ukraine plan, a non-starter aimed at prolonging the proxy war with Russia. I told you, these guys don't want peace. They're making a lot of money. Their interests behind these guys do not want the peace. What's behind the EU meddling? The EU main concern is that the US and Russia would work out a deal together. That means their interests will be left out, according to French geopolitical analyst. That's correct. Why the EU wants to take over Ukraine? What do you mean? It's a lot of resources there. Ukraine, fertile land, mineral resources, an industrious population, treasures Europe wants to exploit. Correct. There is one thing. Access to the Black Sea, they already have through Germany, through Romania, and so on. All right, next one. Oh, well, let's read this. Why that EU three-point plan is a non-starter. They basically say that all Russia's territory acquisitions are null and void. Russia should go back to its own borders, and they also seek to make Europe a guarantor and the protector of Ukraine, which means that EU and NATO would be justified in totally vassalizing Ukraine and in positioning troops targeting Russia interests in Ukraine, plus plundering Russia. Do you think they're over with Russia? Let's say tomorrow the war ends. Let's say the Russians pull back. Let's say they pay reparations to Ukraine. Let's say they pay, I know, $3 trillion, and then they pay another $3 trillion. Do you think the war is over? If Russia is still independent and strong, the war is not over. They will try it again. That's the whole point. They will try it again. It's not that Ukraine. The issue is Russia's resources. The Europeans, the Americans already have the resources, whatever's left. They already have the resources of Ukraine. They want Russia's. That's the goal. And make it weak, obviously. Next one. Ukraine seeks US security guarantees similar to NATO's Article 5. You know what it is? I've just told you. The war is not over, but we want to make it illegal to the imbeciles. Well, Russia provoked another war. What should we do? Oh, well, you gotta go and fight for them. Next one. US wants Ukraine to accept peace plan by November 27 or face end of military aid. Well, I think that's the way it's gonna be. They will not reach an understanding. The negotiations will be very flimsy. They will be changed. The 28 points will be changed. They will be unacceptable to the Russians. Remember, this is the infight. It's not versus Russia. Right now, they cannot agree with the points they're going to issue Russia. Or do they think that they're going to put it over there on the wall and say, this is it? And going to tell the Russians, take it or leave it? I mean, this is delusional, my friends, delusional. But I suspect that's what's going to happen. They're going to come up with something that, again, the Russians will say, the 4, remember the 4? Where are they? Where are they fulfilled? No, we're still going to war. So again, Ukraine will accept the new version, which is going to be the same that was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's going to be a defeat of Russia, which is not going to happen, I think. Von der Leyen sets out EU's core principles for a just peace. Did you hear the just peace in the first points that I mentioned in the first article? That's the just peace. NATO can do this to these guys if the Russians attack, but if the other guys attack, we're just going to do what we do right now. Just peace. And why is Europe involved? Why is not Bangladesh involved? If you tell me because Ukraine is in Europe, so is Russia. So there's not this, is the Russian aggression? Minsk Agreements 1 and 2. Remember Germany's and France's guarantees? They signed it and they lied. So, who overthrew Viktor Yanukovych's government in 2014 in Ukraine? Was it the Russians or were the good people who love democracy? All right, everything points to these guys and they are like our principles. Like what? All right, let's go and show you this. Ukrinform. Rubio suggests possible extension of deadline for signing Ukraine peace deal. What? Rubio, this guy is destroyed by Weinstein. Weinstein, Yermak, will destroy this guy. This has a lot of power and a lot of money. My God. And he's Jewish as well, just so you know. Just a coincidence. Ukrinform. Zelensky, Trump to finalize peace plan during in-person meeting. Well, if he's not briefed, that means this guy who knows everything is going to destroy them. Hey, what's this? That hand up. Oh, is the left one? Is this Moses' hand? Nevertheless, they're going to meet in person. This guy right here will do whatever the interests are telling him to do. That's his job. He's a tool. Got it? So if tomorrow the interests tell him, yes, those 28 points, or revised 19, are good, he's going to say they're good. And that's it. Trump will have nothing. Nothing. It's just a puppet in my head. That's what I think it is. Next. Trump says Zelensky can fight his little heart out if rejects US plan on Ukraine. And what are they going to do? Are you going to withdraw support for Ukraine? They say yes. The generals will show up with Lockheed Martin and with Raytheon at your doorstep and you tell you how things are ran again. And you're going to get it. And they're going to have some judges starting new process, new court proceeding against you or I don't know, whatever they found in the past. And you're going to be toast. And Barron will never be a president. And your dynasty will die because they will destroy it financially and economically. Eric Trump and the other one, Don Jr., will be done, probably prosecuted and convicted. This is your future. So shut the fuck up and do what we'll tell you. Next one. We are 2 meters away from peace deal. Well, I don't think Mr. Kellogg is talking in peace in meters, but probably he talks in feet. But nevertheless, we are 2 meters away. Yeah, but sometimes that's enough for you not to be able to jump over. So 2 meters is what? 7 feet, let's say. 7 feet. You can't jump over it. It is very close, but you can't do it. So, and remember, this one, Kellogg, the Russian says, we're not going to talk to you. He was the Ukraine envoy. He's American, by the way. Maybe that's why, I don't know. He was, and still is until January, the US envoy to Ukraine. But the Russian said, we're not going to talk to this former general. I wonder why. Do you know why? All right, let's go. EU sanctions against Russia have failed. US Treasury Secretary. If something is done 19 times in a row with no success, that means it is not working, Scott Bessent has said. So this is a shift. But why what's the 19? Why wasn't 17? Why wasn't 12? Why wasn't 3? You should have realized after 3 times that you're done. And everything that they did after that, you know what they did? This was the whole purpose of sanctions, just so you know. It was kicking Russia out of some markets, the integration of the world market, all right, by sanctioning those businesses, oil, gas, and so on. And we, the Americans, that's why I'm so nice right now and come to logic. I told you in the past, once they're going to be getting whatever they want, they're going to say, why don't we talk to the Russians? But the deal is already made. Do you think that after this, Mr. Besset is going to be okay with the Russian oil and gas pouring back into Europe? No. I tell you why. Because the Americans cannot compete with the cheap Russian gas and oil. That's why. So right now they got the market. Remember the Scotland Gulf? Okay, that's they got the market. They got into Europe. They can blackmail Europe more than the Russians could have in the past with the resources. And now it's good, man. Let's talk to the Russians. We got them. This was right now. That's why he's so logical now. At fail 19. How many times, let's say, you have a wife or you have a husband, and let's say that person cheats on you once. What do? Twice. How many times before you realize that person is a piece of shit? 19 cheats? Is that what you wait? I mean, think about it. Let's say you go to a bank and you get to 19 banks and you get by 19 banks, and then you realize I should not do business with the banks. After 19, do you need that much? Or maybe your partner, after 19 men or women, your whatever you have, screw you, only then you say, well, maybe I should not be with this person anymore. Really? No. You do it after the first. I don't know if you do it after the second, but you don't wait 19 times. That's for sure. Tucker Carlson accuses Wall Street Journal of covering up Yermak's graft to wreck Trump's peace plan. And here it is, Yermak Weinstein. This represents Ukrainian nation in front of the American nation. Where are they located? Let me see. American nation. This represents American nation. All right? And the other one is where? I don't know. Is this? No, it's this. Remember this guy. And Tucker makes the claim, which I think is correct, that the Wall Street Journal did not cover more about Yermak's possible grift and or whatever he did over there. Because the population will see. The population does not really matter. You're always going to have feeble-minded people that you don't even have to tell them the truth. Let them, give them mirages. They are busy doing other things in their life. More important. So about 40% of the population doesn't even need to be told anything. So yes, you can say he's the hit. What are you going to do? Let's say tomorrow these guys, Washington, Wall Street Journal, will publish every day about Yermak. So, what are you going to do? Start a revolution? Are you not going to vote for Trump again? I mean, they have the voting machines. You're screwed. Bye-bye. What are you going to do? What? The public opinion? It's true what he says. It's true, but you should ask why. Why Yermak? And many other stories. Next one. Trump signals progress in Ukraine peace push. The US president has hinted at movement in talks after delegation from Washington and Kiev met in Geneva. This is from the 24th. Maybe. EU leaders push back on US peace plan shaped by Russian contact. Reject army cap for Ukraine. So this guy's in charge. Look at them. Look, the Japanese new prime minister, I was about to say who she is. I think this is Tusk here, but I'm not sure. The Polish guy. This is the German leader right there. Or maybe this is the Finnish guy right here. I'm not sure yet. At least they match the shoes with socks. And then you have obviously right here the European Commission, and you have the British guy, the English guy, and you have the French guy who below 10% approval rating. So these guys are telling you how life is. Excellent. Next. Russian penned peace plan faces backlash as Europe demands ceasefire, tougher terms. Russian penned. So what these guys are saying, that the Russians gave the Americans the peace plan, and the Americans gave it to the Ukrainians and the Europeans. Do you think that's the way it works? First, look around Putin. How many Jews you see around Putin? I mean, it's a coincidence here to see them everywhere out there, but in Russia somehow you don't see them at the positions of that kind of power. Why is that? Oh, I'd give you the answer. They're anti-Semitic. And that answers everything. It's just a coincidence. Is that why? I mean, imagine Putin meeting Kushner, Witkov, and Yermak, and who else? Zelensky, all these guys meet him over there. Why? Are you representing the United States of America? Or you represent Ukraine? What the hell is going on over there? And we have what? An Iranian representing Israel? It ain't gonna happen. Diversity is only for us, all right? That's why we're so strong. And the Poles jump the gun as well. Polish Prime Minister questions origins of the US proposal for ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Tusk. This is the guy for the European Union, all right? But if the Americans want, he gets out. He's the MI6, probably, as Sikorsky is. I'm not sure yet. So again, question the origins. These guys are making appear as if the Americans are owned by the Russians. Do you think so? If that would be the case, the Americans should stop the war right now. And let's say tomorrow the Americans, let's say they say, we're not going to provide you with anything anymore. Ukraine dies in 2 weeks, and the Europeans will suck someone else's, you know what exactly. That's what's going to happen if the Americans, let's say this is for real, and everything that's the kabuki theater play that's in front of us. Tomorrow the Americans say nothing for Ukraine, zero. What do you think happens? Ukraine collapses in 2 weeks. Those guys in charge of Ukraine, the Ukrainians, will fly to London, will flee. I mean, do rats flee? Whatever, crawl, whatever they do. We're going to go to London, right? And that's the end of it. And the Russians take over. And then take over Europe as well, because these guys tell us so. And the Europeans will be very, very friendly to Russia and Putin overnight. And people call that smart. No, I think that means lack of balls and backbone. Why? They should not have gotten involved in this in the first place. They should have discussed with the Russians. Not in 2014. They should have done it. Supposedly they did. In 2021 and early 2022, when the Russians tried one more time. And let's see what the Russians are saying about the peace plan. Europe's peace plan absolutely does not suit Russia. So that means we're not going to do anything about it. Why? Now, this is another thing that I'm going to cover later. So, what do you think? The Russians clearly say, whatever comes out of your garbage in Geneva, we haven't been asked. And if our four non-negotiables are met, don't even bother. Putin said, we're ready to talk to them, but they come with the same shit. So, this is a game for, I don't even know exactly, it's resetting the big interests sphere of influence. That's what I think it is. They're going to tell Rheinmetall how much access is allowed to have in NATO to sell its weapons. They're going to be given a cap, like 2%. Raytheon is going to be 25, Lockheed Martin 45, and others, that's what it is. And the banks, they are discussing how much they give one another. That's why the European jackals over there, that you saw them over there, they don't represent the people and the nation, they represent the interests. It's a fight over interest, and this is for in front of everyone, you think? It's such a double talk here, my friend. It's just unbelievable. So nothing will come out of this. Nothing. Unless, let's say, in a real world, let's say the one they tell us it is and not the games they're playing, this would be Trump tells these guys 0 to Ukraine, bam, see what's happening. The same as he said, you can cry your little heart out and so on. Let's see if that happens. But he is not going to do that. Why? He's, I think, a tool. That's what it is. And he's going to be told what to do, and he will do it. Why? In order for people to become leaders elected in world democracies, they have to be blackmailable by those interests. They have to have so much that they have to be in check. Do you think they let them? Do you remember Mark Twain? Whatever his name's, Clemens, his real name. Do you remember when he said, do you think that if democracy would, as they say it, they would let us vote? No, because we would give ourselves everything, and those guys will be just our tools. But it's not like that. We have interest, my friends. Interest, and they pretend. And these guys play the same game. Every time you and I participate in their voting thing, we play their games. We accept their rules. The game's rules set by them. And we are fooled. We're told that the rules are this, when actually the rules are this. And we participate. We confirm, that's what it is. We confirm, validate their choices. And we think that's election. Can you see just an example? What people you have to vote for as presidents and senators. Look at Lindsey Graham. How in the hell he got elected? How is he a senator? Look at that, the other one. What's his name is? Framaman. What his name is? Fatterman of what? Ohio, I think he is, or Pennsylvania, whatever he is. I think he's in Ohio, isn't he? The Fatterman. How is he a senator? How? Because the rules are here, and the rules we're told are right here. How these guys are even options? This is my problem. How there are even options? You can go and run, but a party to support Fatterman or Pelosi or Rubio, these guys will not make the cut as a dog catcher in Montana for me. And they are senators. Trump, goddamn, is a president. Obama was a president. I mean, you can go down the list. Bush, the illiterate Bush with Harvard and Yale, was a president. And this is our democracy. It's laughable. It's laughable. Not even, it's sad. It's criminal. So, you think these guys are going to be like serious and going to meet over there? Do you think the situation is different in the West and Europe? No, it's not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.